day, everybody. What a beautiful day in North Georgia. I have a very special guest, and I'd like to introduce her, but I'd really like to introduce what she's cooking tomorrow. So let's talk food, Miss Cindy. Tell folks your name and where you work.
My name is Cindy Heath, and I work at the Speed Burger in Jasper.
I'm the Speed Burger in Jasper, in business for
61 years.
61 years of feeding the folks.
Yep.
Many folks. And when I think about the Speed Burger and how many folks you fed, remember the tornado that came through on Palm Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
It hit our building and the building was destroyed. And I kind of stayed tough and strong. And after all of that, in the aftermath of the cleanup, JS said, run to the Speed Burger and get all the volunteers food. And that's a memory I'll never forget, because as I approached the Speed Burger, I looked at Cagle Funeral Home, and there were 6 names of one family.
Oh.
Do you remember that time in Jasper?
Mm-hmm, I do.
It was a time that neighbors came together and people joined in, and I think that's been a big part of what the Speed Burger is famous for. Mm-hmm. You come together for the community. Y'all have always sponsored everything. And I know the guys who work for you today still make money to do things to help other people.
Yeah.
That's what your company is about. That's what your family is about.
Right.
And that's important.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
And it's so weird because the other day I was coming home from Jasper and I had a bag of Speed Burgers sitting beside me with slaw on them, so the best. And somebody called me and they said, what are you doing? I said, I'm coming home from the Speed Burger. She said, what's the Speed Burger? I said, oh my gosh, I sold you a house and I didn't tell you about the Speed Burger? Are you kidding me? So tell folks a little bit about the Speed Burger and how it started.
My parents opened it in 1964. I'm not sure what month. Mama can't remember. She just remembers that Debbie and Charles, my older brother and sister, were in school. So it had to be sometime in August. We're not sure when. Because back then you went to school, well, they wasn't in school because it was sometime in August. So they opened in a trailer. My dad had worked for somebody in Dalton, Jack Poe, who had a string of trailers back then, so they had opened one in Gainesville for him, and they went through Jasper from Dalton to get to Gainesville. So then Daddy wanted to open his own in Jasper. So they opened it.
It obviously worked.
It did.
It worked. 61 years ago. Okay, the first menu was probably pretty simple.
Basically what we have now.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It wasn't broke, so you didn't have to fix it.
The only thing we've ever really taken off back in the day, they sold a fried oyster plate. Mm-hmm. That didn't go over too well, and then you got where you couldn't get them. We sold fried chicken, bone-in chicken for years and years, but during COVID, it got so expensive and the cuts got so irregular, we couldn't serve it. I mean, the price point was too high. Mm-hmm. So we quit serving that and hadn't put it back on the menu.
You know what's so cool? We're talking 61 years. We have gone through horrible times in the economy. We have gone through craziness with you couldn't get this, you couldn't get that, but y'all survived.
We did, and we survived because, they were what hurt us the most more than any other chain coming in or the changes in Pickens County. During the recession, we had a really hard time. That's how we added the Philly cheesesteak and the vegetables to the menu, because we even needed more variety of what we had. So we've always just made it do.
Okay, the history of the Speed Burger is long and large, but the coolest thing about it is there are no changes. It's still good food, good service, great prices. The hours changed. Talk about that just a little bit. How did you adjust?
Well, about 25 years ago, we started closing on Saturday. We was never open on Sunday, but we closed on Saturday because we had smaller kids and we wanted to do stuff on the weekends with them. And then during COVID, we closed on Wednesday so that I could have 2 teams of employees so we didn't cross-contaminate. So we could stay open. So you work Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and then you was off again. And that other crew come in Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. So, and everybody really liked that.
That's amazing.
And we got COVID a few times and been there, but we never had to close for COVID. We car hopped for a year. I could not do that.
I love that.
That was just a few years ago. I was able to car hop for a year.
Yeah.
But we kept the doors open. And then now everybody that works for me really enjoys Wednesdays off. And honestly, I enjoy my Wednesday.
Sure.
So we're just making it work for you.
Yeah. And if it weren't Wednesday, we would have some of your great food sitting here to display. We would probably have a big cheeseburger in honor of J.S. Martin. We would probably have a sack full of speedy cheeseburgers with slaw on them because that's my specialty.
Yeah, just like, and that's what a lot of locals eat. I kid, but they type into if you're a local or not. It has zero slaw on your speed burger.
That's right. That's right. Well, my thing to do, and this is how I justify this. I said, okay, I'm only going through here once, and I'll get to work, and I won't be able to leave again. I get 2 chicken tenders, and then I get 4 speed cheese slaw. That's it.
Yeah.
I eat the 2 chicken tenders first, and then later in the day, I can eat a cold speed burger.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love them.
And some people do. Some people, you can throw them in the microwave and they'll be on the next day, you know, maybe not without the slaw, but yeah, people eat them all the time. But I think we sell more speed burgers now than we used to just because people's found them. I mean, they're affordable, you know. You don't have to get a whole meal. You can get 2 speed burgers and a drink for less than $5. That's it. That's the deal.
Now, what is your favorite that you've eaten all your life? What's the one thing you always go back to?
My go-to is a big cheeseburger.
Yeah.
That's my go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't eat that much red meat anymore, so I eat it about once a week. That's my treat. That's my Friday meal.
Is there something special y'all do to that cheeseburger? Because JS would always say, no. I'll say, would you want me to stop? I'm going through town. You want me to get you a burger? No, I want a speed burger. I said, JS, they're closed today. What do you mean? I said, they're closed. Oh, no. You know, there's something about the flavor. What do you do to that burger?
I think it's because they're cooked fresh, but it's also the sauce. We make the sauce, and we use a steamer. So you want to get a melted cheese on the beef, and that's a little cold piece of cheese on a hamburger.
No.
So yeah, I think that's the thing.
Yeah. Now, what about plates? With the cost of doing business, is it still affordable to eat a plate at the Speed Burger?
It is. I mean, you can do a plate and a drink for $14, and that plate should be plenty of food. I mean, most people take some of it home with them.
Right.
But yeah, you can still do a plate and a large drink for $14, so that's not bad.
Now, a loaded question. When all these corporations come in, has the Speed Burger been affected by this?
We are. I mean, and it's going to be a little bit different this year because there are going to be 3 or 4 open in one year. Usually, you know, you have one opening. It affects us. The worst one in my lifetime is whenever, believe it or not, when Hardee's first come to town. Because if you remember, Hardee's was the first chain.
That's right.
And it was right above.
But you know what's so funny? Hardee's didn't make it, and the Speed Burger did.
Yeah, we're still here.
That speaks volumes.
Yeah, we're still here.
And I think it's called consistency.
It is. And we micromanage a lot just because there's a lot of moving parts in a restaurant people don't see. And we try to keep everything consistent. But like we've had places where we buy our products from go out of business. Where we buy our hot dogs. They decided they were closing. They said, this will be your last delivery. We're closing. They got tired and they went home.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Is there a retirement in your future ever?
There is. And my kids don't want it, so we'll have to sell it. Just because, I mean, I'm 59. I can't, and restaurant work's hard.
Sure it is. Well, I worry about change. I don't like change. I'm a choir old lady that don't like change.
Well, I think that's why people like the Speed Burger, especially if you're from Jasper, this area, because it's the same. You came here with your grandparents. You came here with your parents. You brought your grandkids. I mean, we're into generations of people eating at the Speed Burger and eat the same thing.
Always. Yes, always.
So let's try to keep it consistent. So we try real hard.
Well, it just cracked me up when I was on the phone with, and she didn't know about Speed Burger. I said, I can't believe I didn't tell you. Yeah. How do people find out about y'all now? Because you've never had to advertise.
Well, you used to have commercials on ETC.
I remember we got some of the old ones.
Yeah, and
we do have some of the old ones.
Listen, the economy gets better. We get slow. Advertising is kind of the first thing we got. And it's just word of mouth. I mean, it's word of mouth. And people says, I mean, we have new people come in. It used to back in the day. We knew everybody that come in the door and their family and the kids and the whole 9 yards. But now, every day there are new people that's never ate at the Speed Burger before. So,
well, we have 2 buildings in Ball Ground that are going to be available for restaurants, and we're having a really, really hard time selecting who would be here.
Right.
We already have a hamburger place. We already have a pizza place. We have somebody who serves Mexican food. So we don't know what we want. If you were going to open a restaurant in a town like Ball Ground, what would you choose? What would be your go-to?
I think you need something kind of home cooking.
That's right.
I think that's what we're missing everywhere.
That's what I think.
And it needs to be real home cooking. It don't mean that's canned cooking.
That's right. That's right. Well, and I want to ask you about this because the speed burger has existed for 61 years. 61 years, you've never had to serve a drop of alcohol.
No.
Never. And so many people say now, well, if we didn't have alcohol, we wouldn't break even. If we didn't have alcohol, alcohol is our profit. How do you feel about that? You've made it 61 years and you've never sold the first alcohol?
It's never really been an option for us. We never thought about going that direction.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you serve alcohol, you eliminate some of your clientele as well.
Absolutely.
You lose that kind of family atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Because some people aren't comfortable being around that.
Right.
But I don't think you have to have alcohol.
Mm-mm.
I do insist on half and half tea.
Yes. We do insist on that. Everything can't be instant.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like everybody loves our tea. Well, that's because we still brew our tea. We don't have the tea machine in the building.
Yeah.
We still boil big pots of water and pour it in there. So some things you have to really.
That's the way your time is tea.
That's how you make tea. You don't make it in a tea machine.
Yeah. That is so cool. Now, when we think about the kids that work for you today, I love that they raise money for different things happening in the community. That's something that y'all have passed on because you've always given back to the community.
And the thing is, back when tip jars first started, we said, okay, you have a tip jar, but a portion of that's going to a charity, and we'll match whatever that is. So we try to do local charities. We tried a couple of national charities, and people just didn't want to give to that.
Right.
So we always pick, and it seems like everything, even we do the senior center, just because I know a lot of times they get forgotten as far as people giving.
Absolutely.
And then we do the Boys and Girls Club. We do snacks after school.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do foster kids, and then the animals. Usually we do a shelter once or twice a year.
Those are all important, but Veterans Day is coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe we should salute our veterans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have to do, because we do foster kids. Our foster kids is the most expensive. It takes us about 3 months to raise enough money because we never not gotten everything on that foster kids list.
Wow.
So we've always been able to get it. And we're closed a week for Thanksgiving, a week for Christmas. So, we have to, usually takes 3 months to get that foster care money.
Yeah. I'm sure. Well, let's look at your employees. You've got some that have been there 15 years?
And we've always had some, even when Mom and Daddy was running it, we had some that stayed with them for 15, 20 years. But it is hard on your body. It's not something you're going to do when you get old.
Yeah. And it's not for the faint of heart because you can't make everybody happy.
No.
Anytime you're dealing with the public, somebody is going to have a problem. Right. And you just have to handle it, Right. And I can remember somebody saying they got so mad because they left out a pack of ketchup when they went through a drive-thru. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, you got mad because your ketchup was left out. Okay, all right, yeah, you can't do that. You're serving the public, yeah, and have been. Do we have a number on how many speed burgers have ever gone out the door or the window? Do you have a clue?
No, we never even attempted to count it up. You can't
even imagine.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've never even attempted to count.
Yeah.
So
I have gone and ordered 24 speed burgers, like when we had the event after the tornado, because we were feeding all the volunteers that were helping us. And JS said, how are you going to know what to get? He said, are you going to ask everybody what they want? I said, no, I'm getting a sack of speed burgers, a sack of double cheeseburgers, a sack of steak sandwiches. And that's what I did. And it's kind of variety because if you can't find something at the speed burger, you're really not hungry.
And that's one reason we're so busy. We have so much. We got a lot of food on the plate, or you can get 2 speed burgers or a hot dog, or you can get a hot dog and a speed burger, whatever you want. That's our thing. We didn't have combos for years, but when everybody started getting combos, we had to make a combo because people thought, I ordered a cheeseburger, why didn't I get a combo? Because you didn't order a fry and a drink. So we just made up combos because at the speed burger, you get what you want, not what on the list.
Okay, when did the Billy Cheese come about?
That roughly come up, I guess, when they started being popular, maybe 50 years ago. And one of the girls that works for us, Camille, she said, well, we shouldn't call it a Philly. We should call it a Billy after Billy. So that's how we made the Billy cheesesteak.
So, and how many of those have you sold? A bunch.
A bunch of them put out a bunch. And only certain people like those. A lot of people eat at Speedburger won't try new things.
Yeah, yes. I was married to one of those. Yeah, I was married to one of those. I'd say, don't you want to try? No, I want a big cheeseburger. No, I want a big cheeseburger. No, I want a hamburger steak plate. Okay, I got you.
One or the other. Can't taste it and bring him a cheese.
That's right. Okay, when we look at the family members, let's talk about how many family members have been there and who's worked through the process.
Well, there's 4 kids. There's me, my 2 brothers, and a sister. They all work there. Both of my kids work there. My nieces and nephews work there. The great nieces and nephews haven't. So, but
And does it hurt your feelings that your kids don't want to carry on this business?
no, but restaurant work's hard. Sure, it's only getting harder for him for non-chains.
Yeah.
I don't know about the chain. I've never owned one, but for non-chains, it's only getting harder. They don't want. I don't feel like they are not encouraging people to own their own business.
And we won't even go there because I can tell you where that starts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is, the American dream is certainly opening your own business.
Right. And nowadays, whereas used to, you have to have more people to do the same job. Used to, you had one person and they done 2 or 3 things at the same time. Now you've got to have 3 people to do what one person used to do. And that's fine and dandy if you can find those 3 people, but then you got to pay 3 people as opposed to paying one person. So, it's very frustrating, and I don't see that getting any easier.
No.
So I don't wish that on anybody.
No. Well, when I went to work, 23 years old, I've been self-employed since I was 23. And it's because I worked for somebody who wasn't very reasonable, really not a good boss at all. Yeah. A good boss makes a good crew. Right. A good boss makes a good crew, and y'all have been the best. And people know. I mean, they know we're going to the Speed Burger. We're going to get what we want. We're going to get what we need. We're going to get a good price. We're going to get a great value. Right. That's been instilled in y'all from your mom and dad.
Right. And we want it to remain affordable for the average person, you know. We Markley could charge more.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't penny and dime everybody. Okay, you want extra honey mustard? Here's you an extra honey mustard. Here you want extra onion or pickle or whatever. There's not an upcharge for every chain.
Yeah.
And I understand some places have to do that, but it also gets just a little excessive.
Oh, yeah. And you're like, really? Okay. Right. Yeah. That drives me crazy. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. When you go out to eat, where do you choose to go? Do you cook at home or do you like to go out to eat? Is there anywhere you enjoy going out to eat?
Yeah, we eat out a lot. I mean, I feel like we do. I mean, some people eat out every single day. We don't do that. I do cook supper, usually 4 nights a week. We might eat leftovers one night, but we usually eat at home at least 4 nights a week. But on the weekends, we eat out, usually Saturday or Sunday, at least one or both of those days.
Do you ever try other local restaurants?
Yeah, we eat at Waffle House. Like, I can go get my mother today.
Yes, I go, yes.
She lives at assisted living, and so she don't get breakfast very often because she don't get up that early, and they won't serve it but at breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
So they eat breakfast on Wednesday for lunch. That's how. And we eat pizza a lot. So, and Mexican. We'll go to the Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
But I am kind of picky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, let's talk about health score and how important that is to y'all.
It's real important, and it's changed over the years. You know, we had Jan Stevens forever.
Yeah.
It was the only.
Thank you, Jesus. We had Jan Stevens forever.
And we went through transitions after Jan. We had,
Well, we had Bill Hamrick before her.
I don't remember her.
Bill Hamrick was there before her. He actually trained her.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Jan was one, and they tell us to do something. Usually it's done by the end of the week. If it's whatever it is, we always take care of it right then and there. And there was a transition after Jan. They brought in a couple. And one, when she walked in the building, she said, "This building is so old, I don't even know where to start." And I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be a great relationship."
Oh my gosh. Wow. Instead of saying, what a piece of Jasper history.
Yeah. And every time she came in the door, she cost me $1,000 at least because she wanted something major done. And so that turned into a nightmare. We actually had to end up, I called Jan, and Jan was on the way of leaving. Anyway, I ended up calling her boss in Dalton, and I said, you come and look what she just made me do to my plumbing, and you tell me this is okay, and I'll leave it. But she had us change our plumbing. When we washed a load of dishes, literally the dirty water would run out on the floor. And she said, "I don't care. That's how I want it. That's how it's got to be." And I'm like, No, I can't have dirty water in the floor for my employees to fall and break a leg on. But anyway, they came over and said, "Yeah, that's wrong."
Thank goodness.
And they guaranteed that they said, as long as she don't come back in, will that be okay? And I said, that's fine. She's
That's
just no
great.
longer allowed in this restaurant.
Yeah, I love
So
that.
they, for a couple of
I
years,
love that you stood your ground.
for a couple of years, they actually had either people come from LJ or Canton to give us a health inspection.
I love it.
But now the person I have now, she's reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, she understands you're doing it for money.
Yes. Yes.
It's not volunteer work.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, if you're doing bad food, people will quit eating with you.
Okay, I've got this thing that I think about all the time. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Speed Burger has been excelling in what it does for 61 years. Can you imagine nitpicking y'all? That's like crazy to me. That's crazy.
And she did. And so and they did finally get rid of her. So wow, she got gone before Jan completely. Yeah. So I was real tickled. Yes. And the one I said, of course, now she's reasonable. If you got a question, you can call and ask for an answer.
Mm-hmm. Before you spend $1,000.
Right. Yeah. And it's a real answer. It's not because I said so.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not a good response to anxiety you're making spend money.
Yeah. Oh my. Oh my. I would never have lasted. If she'd have hit Sherry's iron skillet, we'd have been at the poor cotton.
You know, it was, me and her was actually out in the dining room going over the inspection one day. And she had told me one thing the previous visit. We started doing it. And then she came in and she told us something else the next time. And she counted off 9 points for it. Because we had never made below a 90 before this woman came. And so me and her got in an argument out in the dining room, and we were screaming at each other. And I'm really not a screamer. And they were customers in the dining room, and they were like, and I'm like, no, I'm standing my ground.
I'm glad you did.
It was just terrible. It was just terrible.
Yeah. Well, number one, it's hard to operate a business. It's hard, and it's an economical disaster often because if things happen like COVID, you have to bear the brunt of it. You don't have corporate America backing you up.
No, we went without paydays so our employees got paid.
Sure.
So that whenever we got some money back in, we could get our paydays then. But you always have to pay your employees and your suppliers because without them, you're not going to do any business.
That's it. That's it. Now, when COVID came, did people use it as an excuse not to work?
No, the people that worked for me through COVID, they worked. They worked.
That's
good. But they was also only working 2 days a week, so they were like,
yeah. I wouldn't like that because I couldn't feed my family on that.
Yeah, but we managed. So
now let's talk a little bit about your precious mama. You're taking her to breakfast, and health-wise, she okay? Everything?
Yeah, she's got something called normal pressure hydrocephalus, and it's a fluid issue in the brain. And so she can't, it keeps you from being able to pick up your feet for very long. So, and mama was doing really well. So if you ever have somebody that's getting older, and all of a sudden they're not walking and they're falling, get them checked. Because if we had found this earlier, we might have caught it before it caused some damage. But at least she had the shunt put in. So she walks with a walker, but she wants to be able to walk.
Knowing your mama, I'm sure she does.
Right. Yeah. You know, for somebody who worked at the Speed Burger who's always going, she can't do that no more.
Yeah.
So that gets her more than anything, not being able to walk.
Yeah. Okay, let's invite folks to the Speed Burger. Tell them how to get there.
Okay, we are on Old Highway 5, or if you come through downtown Jasper, you're going to come through the red lights and go down the hill, and we're on the right. We got the big orange awning. We're across from the BP station. And there's the Last Catch that's above right up the street.
Right, and just down the street from Cagle Funeral Home.
On Cagle Street, it's been there forever. And which drugstore was that?
Speaking of forever, when we think about that, I'm looking back. Bud Mills used to have a gas station there. JS had the gas station. Tom Phillips was across the street.
Arco Jones.
Yeah, Arco Jones was there. That's those families, you know. Yeah. That's those families, and people remember all of that. Yeah.
And the odd thing is when we redone the dining room while we were closed for COVID, we did close for a month and we bottled the dining room, and we put up the old pictures from Jasper, and I wanted to get pictures from those old businesses that used to be up and down the road, but nobody had them because back then you didn't have a phone in your camera.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give you a picture of JS standing at the gas pump. Okay. Gas was, I think it was $23.9. Okay. Something like that. And somebody sent it to me a few years ago. And when I got it, I was like, oh my gosh, that is amazing. That is amazing. Yeah.
No, we'll put it up in the dining room. That's what I wanted to do, but we can't find any. So I went to Jackie Dunn, who has this up of his with pictures, and got some from him and from the Progress Gate. Some too. So
Okay, folks, remember that the Speed Burger is open Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 10:30.
from 10 o'clock in the morning, the dining room's up until 6:30, and the drive-through is 7:30.
Okay. If you don't know about the Speed Burger, you are missing a great little meal. And honestly, a great little meal on a budget. And trust me, try the chicken tenders and try some Speed Burgers as a sidekick with it. You will love
We got
it.
everything. Yeah, hot dog sandwiches, we got everything.
Yeah, and your shake machine always works.
Well, we had to get a new one. First one lasted a little bit over 50 years.
Yep.
Yeah, and the new one cost as much as a car. So,
But you can't drive.
but you can't drive. And when we bought that one, they have regions. And so I called, we needed a new one. And the lady pretty much told me that I couldn't afford one and wouldn't sell me one. Wasn't really even talk to me. So I called somebody in Birmingham because that's a different region. And I said, can you sell me an ice cream machine? And he said, no, I can't because you're not in my region, but I'll get in touch with somebody that can. And that's okay. It really frustrated me because I said, I'll bring you the cash to Atlanta right now if that's what you want me to do. I can trust me. If I want the ice cream machine, I will afford the ice cream.
Oh my gosh.
But she was like, I can't sell it to you. You won't be able to pay for it. And I'm like, what?
That is crazy. So they're assuming that because
We're not a chain. We can't afford it.
yes, in a small town, been in business 61 years, and she takes it on herself to not sell you an ice cream. Well,
She
she,
can afford it. I'm like, oh no.
oh no.
Boss called me and I told him and he got me an ice cream.
I bet he did.
They don't have them sitting in stock anymore though. They make them to order. They gave us a loan for 6 months and our new one showed up in 6 months.
That is
It's been great.
so low.
The first one lost 50.
Yeah. Well, I know you have it because last week I went by and got 2 vanilla shakes. So I knew you had one.
And we use Mayfield products, so it is.
Yes, of course you do. Yes, yeah. And there's a difference in that milk and that ice cream. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I know I'm so excited to share the Speed Burger. It's old news that hasn't traveled fast because a lot of folks in Ball Ground didn't even know you existed. And we're going to share the word now. So again, thank you so much. And everybody head to the Speed Burger. The line is long and it is worth the wait.
And the address is 562 East Church Street, but you need to Google it.
There you go. There you go. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.